day, and I have to drop it even if it's for 30 minutes. So let's go about to discuss some of the matters that are highlighted out there, and of course saga after saga in Parliament. And the fact that we are crying about money, but money is flowing around, guys. And Ruto was like, if your grandfather did not go to the witch doctors, then you must be having money, because if you're multiplying it, why not? And we are like, okay, give us a chance to also multiply ours, because we get a lot of problems to invest ours. Before we invest it, it's over, and our project's not over. So are you telling us tulienda kwa muganga, no wonder we are not able to do anything with our money? That's the sad aspect what the president said it in one of the meetings. I'll not play it again because yesterday I did play it, and we saw Didan talking about the same. Anyway, we see Ruto with a very large convoy of vehicles. Now, I told you also many times that any moment the president is going someplace, you will hate going the same route, because a lot of convoy will pass by and you will be stopped like a thief, pushed aside on the roads, and you will not have to use that road. Most times, if it's in the city center, they have to brush aside all vehicles and clear the road. You can see the streets are spotless, clean, like there's nobody. And the few people who are standing aside possibly did not know what is happening. But I've been in Nairobi when roads are being used by the president, and you won't like it, guys. I don't know which habit, this habit, because I look at the American president and even UK and all that, and I don't see the same situation. I don't see this. I also looked at even the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and I've not seen this thing happening. So Wagwan Jamaicans, how do you operate? Because you don't operate like us. In Kenya, extravagance must take course. And of course, we saw right here, let's see the recent events. Of course, today, must be today. Yeah, so let's look at this. Now, guys, you would be surprised. That's a convoy of vehicles escorting the president. Guys, I don't understand whether this is safe. At the same time, why the fear? Why do we have so many vehicles following the president? And away from that, we have the presidential escort, including even the motorbikes and all that. I don't understand. Is it feeling insecure? Is it because they are guilt? Is it, what are they running after? Because I always look at this and wonder why in Kenya we would have a president having 20 vehicles or more. You know, I've always told you that any moment the president is using a particular road, when using a particular road, you'll be surprised. You will be surprised. And the same situation goes with OWUOR. All right? Hannah vs. the Press. Hello. Hans vs. the Press. Hola, hola, hello, welcome to the channel. Like the video. The other channel I was unable to see the people because something happened and I was like, I can't see, but now here I can see the people, and thank you so much. Gilvan Santos, welcome, like the video. And before I continue, let me remind people to subscribe to the channel, share my videos, like them so that I can grow. I was targeting to have 1,000 viewers or subscribers this month, but I see we are at date 18, not yet, but I'm not giving up. I'm gonna push for that. All right. Najib Ola, hi, big up to you. Welcome to the channel and feel at home. Like the video, please. By now we would be having 3 likes, so continue liking the video as we go by it. So why did then the Kenyans decide to insult the president for this convoy. I think it's just because people are depressed. They're feeling a bit pressed down economically, and people cannot even afford a simple motorbike. Not even motorbike. I'm talking about the old bicycle, the two-wheel, the bicycle. Most people cannot afford that because most bicycles, if you go to buy them, they go at 18,000 somewhere there. So there are people who cannot afford that in Kenya, yet the president goes about with a convoy of almost 50 cars. And they're not just cars, they are cozy. You know, Najib, Ula, thank you so much. Yeah, cozy vehicles. I told you about the state-of-art cars, you know, and I was talking about it yesterday. I was saying that we have parliamentarians who came to government as jigger-infested poor hoodlums. Now today, you look at them, they are driving state-of-art cars, very expensive one, Pajero. Some of them have limousines. They have, Prados. You know, those flashy cars, not just simple cars. If you look at that convoy, there was no simple car there. There was no Toyota at all, you know. Yeah. So you look at that. I think the reason why many people had to attack the president, begin insulting him, is as a result of the kind of life he's living compared to the normal Kenyan who is paying tax. Paying tax through the goods we buy, maybe the roads that are being constructed, the fuel that we buy, the transport that you pay as you are moving from one destination to another, all those, school fees. Najib, Pakistan. How is Pakistan? I hope it's fine. No more wars, but peace. Is there peace now in Pakistan? Sometimes when you're in Kenya, you imagine how is that country? How are people surviving, How do you survive in Pakistan, for example? For ours here is an economic war, but there was a physical war. I'm like, hey, you must be having a strong heart to be surviving in Pakistan. All right, so let's proceed to look at the kind of responses Kenyans had, and look at this.
Si mjinga, ni mshenzi si mshenzi, ni mpumbavu si mpumbavu, ni mjinga zaidi. From where I sit.
It's funny. Now the president goes about in convoys like that and now calls somebody foolish. Who is foolish if not Kenyans? We, the Kenyans, are the foolish ones because we select leaders who then come to sit around and do a lot of, poor leadership, poor governance. And then people go back to State House, receive 10,000 shillings, and they'll be all teeth out, smiling and promising to vote again another time. Now let's look at this. At one time, the president posted this: transformation is unstoppable. We have no place for narrow-minded retrogressive leaders who drag our country backwards. Satisfied with the ongoing construction of 1932 units Nyali VOK affordable housing project Mombasa County, this transformative project, which has employed more than 650 people, furthers our commitment. Even before I finish this, how many people are in Mombasa? How many people stay in Mombasa? How many people there are jobless? Now let's look at the housing project itself. Here it is. What do you feel about this project? Compare that to Jamaica. Of course, I've done comparison of Jamaica so many times. People will be asking me why, but ask me why, I'll tell you Jamaica has a strategy. All right. So that is the housing project, right? And before you acquire it, of course, you have to pay for it, but the taxes are being deducted every month through salary, and everybody has to pay towards that, especially those who are working. Okay. Najib says, perfect. We are so happy. All right. It's good to hear. Good to hear that people in Pakistan are happy and grateful. All right. Tawai Cross says, doesn't matter what you've stolen makes me sick. You deserve to be jailed. A pathological liar, a man who would rather sell Kenya for selfish gain one time. And they brought Adani there, saying, we have not forgotten one Adani. Gilvan Santos, welcome, welcome. I've also posted a question there. I always bring question answer, so that in case somebody wants to respond, they can also respond to that. Our question today is favorite kind of cookie. We can go by as we continue with that. Like the video. Currently, we should be having at least 5 likes. So remember to like the video. Take a moment to also subscribe to the channel, because I can also see some new faces, and you share the videos. You can go back and watch my other videos also, just to enhance my watch hours and also build my niche. So thank you so much. When we look at other comments towards the president, some were saying nonsense. Of course, you've satisfied, because your main contractor supply of all material landlord land is public money. You're using his tax. You rob poor Kenyans. And many more others. Of course, when we go to the wall where this was posted, you'll find a lot of comments from Kenyans, and many people are so annoyed, because when you look around, people are struggling, literally struggling economically in Kenya. Sometimes you get a salary, and before 5 days, you don't have it at all. You do some business, 2 days, if you are struggling into it, you can't survive. Then now the leaders come around bragging, saying that it's not difficult to have 50 million Kenyan shillings. For them, they say 10,000 or 10 million just came from, I don't know, wherever, unless somebody went to the witch doctor. And I'm like, okay, are we living in the same country? Are we living in the same country? Because it's like some of us are living above this country, others below. And there are those who are living in the country. Okay? Yeah, so let's check to something here. Of course, Wanjigi's story is still existing, but I want to link what we've just discussed with something to do with Moody Award. Remember, we were mentioning something to do with Adani, yeah? And when you look at Adani, I looked at Ikonini, a video known as Inside Prophet Awards Inner Circle, exposing Adani got me kicked out. Now, when you look at the boy who exposed this aspect of Adani, he seemingly was in a family that stays, worships in Moody Awori's church. And that is why sometimes we say that Moody Awori is part of the government, because the convoy he has when he's going to places for his meetings is exactly what RAILA and RUTO will have. So here I can see the boy actually exposed to the Adani issue, revealing how Adani itself was actually working against Kenyans. And when it came out, the first person to talk about it was Senator Onyonka from Kisii, I remember. So let's just listen a bit to this boy and what he says here. You remember him, I hope. Let's look at this video.
Turiwait kidogo, tubonge juu like
commercial break.
Shillings, you could have the smart, adjustable, and portable table plus a free. Nasemaga like, history ya Eminem poke gambayo juu ya madhaki niko like, I'm yet sister yangu mbigi but alisha pass, because when she vile alimalizaga form 4, there's a time that she disappeared akahepa, na yaka alikuwa na ka boyfriend fulani. So vile alirudi the next day, buda alikuwa amejam kabisa. So
my advice to parents, the reason out with their children, si ati kila saa ati unataka kumwambia don't do that, don't do this. Unajua ati wendi unajua si kaa chini na mtu hii. Maybe aliwatch kitu mahali kama inspire. What you try and find out why is your kid doing yangu. So time ya altar call, unajua wase wakiambiwa ati waende waokoke. Claria kaendanga hapo mbele kuokoka. Mimi niko guy, mimi kwanza nasikia kuhepa, niko siwezi vumilia. Nimekuwa like say I've become popular juu ya Adani.
Yes.
So kila mahali mimi huenda, ninapatanga tu nimekuwa popular juu ya kitu yenye nimedu. So huko nilikuanga mnoma, stories za video nini, stories za media, obviously, because hiyo ndio kitu nilikuwa nafanya uni. design and advertising, so stories are graphic design blah blah blah. So first nilianza kuzifanya kwa ako ka church kadogo, nikaanza by then nilianza kuwa help, ninawashow kupiga mapicha, ninawashow nini.
Someone calls you from the church ama
wazee wakanipigia wakaniambia they don't want anything to, like hawataki kitu yote to do with me because.
All right, so you remember that young man in America? Of course, he revealed something to do with Adani, that is Nelson Amenya. So Nelson Amenya, allegedly the family was in Moody Awards church. And after revealing the Adani story, he was called and told that he should not again attend that church. He should not. So he was pulled out. Now, guys, you see how sometimes religion can be hypocritical. Sometimes churches can be hypocritical. I don't know why, for whatever fears. We read a book known as Fathers of Nations, and for those of you who have been following our lessons, in that book there is a pastor who came out to have a combative sermon talking about the president advising himself, referring to fires that had been broken and riots in one of the parts of Nigeria. And then the president wrote a memo on the same. So the preacher goes to church and he decides that he's going to talk about it, and the worshippers were so afraid, almost running out of church. And of course he was put in jail for 2 weeks before he was released, and his church was banned. You see? Now I think this is one of the things that has made a lot of church leaders to fear talking about politics. So it is what it is, guys. Now, away from this aspect of Adani and how the boy was finally pulled out of the church because of exposing Adani, let's get to see something here. The reality is that the boy, we have Elias Kampo. Elias Kampo, Kenya is my country. Kenya is my country. If you've been watching me for some time, Elias, you seem to be new. Please subscribe to the channel, because for those of you who have been watching me, you know very well I'm from Kenya. So kindly subscribe to the channel. At least I've found a new person here, Elias Kampo. Welcome. All right. So let's get to Jicho Pevu, for all of you who know him as Ali. So of course you understand today the president was in Mombasa, right? And this is what
na watu wa Mombasa West, kwa sababu baada ya leo hawawezi tena kusota na mambo ya uchukuzi kutoka Mombasa West kuja kufanya kazi. Ni jambo kubwa sana. Kwanza ni shilingi 50. Ni kweli? Sasa pendapo wemwa ulipo nini?
So you realize that Mfalme of Mombasa was trying to advise the leaders of Mombasa to toe the line and actually appreciate what RUTO is doing in Mombasa. Now remember, he's one of the people who was picked from ODM. Though he used to talk a lot of trash about the government, now he's beating a drum for them, celebrating them, and actually urging the members of Mombasa to vote for the government. Let's listen here.
Hii ni kazi ambayo tungekuwa tumefanya miaka 20 iliyopita, lakini kwa sababu ya uzembe ya uongozi na watu matapeli na wakora. Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize, si mmesikia mtu mwingine tapeli anasema ati atakuja kusimamisha hii affordable housing? Yani nawauliza watu wa Mombasa, niwaulize kabisa, yani mahali hapa Atama anasema mahali hapa tusijenge manyumba, iendelee kuwa mahali ya kutupa takataka. Ati mahali hapa tusijenge hizi manyumba.
Housing project, guys, is one of the big scams in Kenya. And of course, people say it's a scam because they understand that from what Gachagua said, the president started this project knowing that his friends will be suppliers of material. They'll also be contracted. And our money, of course, from the tax will be used to pay them. So by the time these projects are over, somebody will be a trillionaire. I don't know if there is another word away from trillion, but that is what it will be. None. Elias Campo, a Christian. Okay, yeah. So I'm a Christian, but I believe any religion is religion. Religion is religion as long as you praise Allah. That is what matters. That is what matters. As long as God is for us, everybody worships God. Whichever process, whether it's through Indian religion, whether it's through Muslim and Muslim, Christian, all of it is just okay. I don't see any problem with any, as long as somebody practices their faith. If you practice the faith and practice the aspect, the fruits of the Holy Spirit, that is what matters. So thank you so much. Let's continue and look at what Jichopevu Ali has responded. And according to the president, Jichopevu is the one who is against housing. And I'm like, is that the main project that people from Mombasa need? I've ever lived in Mombasa, and I think one thing that they should do for those people is to ensure that they shield water so that people can acquire water easily. Because there is the Indian Ocean, yes, but the water is salty. For people to acquire clean water, it's a very serious problem. The other thing is that the rains in Mombasa are not predictable, actually. And if only cost was made to have irrigation places, it would be better because it's a tourism center. But the growth of the people, if you look deep into the villages of the Griama people, you will find that their people who are extremely poor. Extremely poor. And I don't know what the government is doing about it. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's listen to Jichopevu and see what he said. Possibly he'll be speaking in Kiswahili. I'll try to explain before we move to the next receipt. We have about 10 minutes to finish.
Siasa ya Kenya imekuwa ni siasa ya kwenda vita na wazee. Safari hii ile last bullet tuliambiwa sisi ndio tuko nao mfukoni. 2022 tunadunga.
Tukiangalia pale Mombasa, tukiangalia mbele tunaona mwangaza. 50,000 makofi.
If you could receive Rigathi Gachagua at that time, what do you think stopped him from hosting the president? Go to the podium. When your people decided, okay, if it's like that, let me leave ODM, let me run as independent. So Jichopevu contested as independent, and they won. After winning, Jichopevu had expected that Joho and the team were going to surrender. Joho was still the governor. Joho did not do that. They went further and challenged his election in court.
Yeah, so that is Mombasa town, of course, and I'm just collecting some receipts from Lequini's video, and you've seen that that is where now the vehicles really annoyed a lot of young people, and they were so much annoyed. Oh, what a question. Are you become Muslim? Oh my God, why should I? Let's get to another receipt. Let's get to another receipt. The questions we get on this internet, you laugh at them. Yeah, there is something here about the corrupt RUTO charters. I just want us to look at the corrupt RUTO charters. Gulf Stream, GV. Yeah, so I want us to look at this. Mora Onde. Hey. All right, so let's get here and see something funny here. We're just left with about 6 minutes to finish this.
Then here's the interior. Kuna gari, hakuna ofisi. Sindio? Hakuna ofisi, hakuna gari. Wewe ni mtu ya hiyo location. Na vile ulienda interviews uliulizwa swali, kaambiwa utafanyaje kazi na hakuna ofisi. Ukasema ofisi ni ya nini? Mimi ni creative. Pale popote nitafanya ofisi yangu. Si ukweli? Na kwa sababu ulikuwa na interview watu 20, wakaona wewe mwenye umekubali unaweza fanya hata kazi bila ofisi, wakakupatia. Mwingine akauliza please, mwingine akaulizwa sasa wewe sasa wewe utafanya kazi namna gani na hakuna motorcycle? Akasema mtu ufanyie nini motorcycle kwa location yake? Si mimi nimekuwa nikizunguka hapa nitembea na kwa mguu. Sasa saa hizi ukiambiwa kwa nini huja respond wapi, unasema sina motorcycle. We must remember.
Hey, our CS interior is very funny. He's using planes to go stream all over the places, and he's telling people they should be comfortable without a motorbike, without an office. Hey, what a life. Life is so unfair, right? How would you tell somebody that they should just be happy working outside the office because during the interview they say they can work without it? The arrogance level in Kenya sometimes is just too much. I don't even know. Do we have interviews in the police? Finish service, once you have passed out, you are taken to a station. Do they interview somebody, like tell you, how will you work in a place without a motorbike or something like that? I don't know. But it's quite sarcastic. You know, very sarcastic for a CS who puts on a belt worth millions and a watch worth millions to tell somebody like that. You know, sometimes in Kenya what tunasema aliye na shibe hamjui mwenye njaa. When you are overfed, you don't know even that who is angry. If somebody is sleeping angry, you don't care, or you are not even concerned about them. Ilyas telling us, come to Kenya, teacher, okay. There are teachers, they want to come. Hey, what is in Kenya? You don't see all these problems people are experiencing in Kenya. The teachers in Kenya, of course, they have a lot of problems. And then, I don't know, would you actually like work in Kenya when you've studied? I don't know, because I've seen even situations of teachers who have studied in Uganda. They come in Kenya as teachers and they cannot acquire a place, because one thing with the TSC in Kenya, they only hire people with certificates as KCSE. And at the same time, you must have 2 teaching subjects that you passed with a C+ in high school. But I don't know whether really Kenya has had opportunities to hire people from outside. I'm not so sure about it. Unless you get a private school, that is where you can work. Maybe if they'll allow, especially if you have foreign languages like German, Japanese, very rare. Chinese language in some few cases, then French. French is the most common. That is where they are easily hiring people. But just like that, to come into Kenya, then teach from a different country, I've not seen of late something like that. What they hire is for different levels of experts. That's what they do. But just as a teacher to come and teach, maybe Arabic, I've seen also Arabic they are hiring, especially schools in the coast, Mumias and where. That is where I've seen. But maybe on private schools, not public. For public school, you must have gone through the system of Kenya, acquired Form 4 certificate, have gone through the training of a degree, B.Ed, before getting that. Masters in Med. Masters Med subject English, Urdu and Math. How? People can do 3 subjects because in Kenya the combination is English and literature. Then maybe math, business, math, physics, math without chemistry. But English, for you to teach English in Kenya, you must have done also literature for you to be able to teach in Kenya. English, literature. Math should go with the business. Math should go with the chemistry, physics, such a combination. Anyway, I'll be checking on that later. And Gilvan says Bakui. Bakui. Is that French or which one? Bakui. Bok. Bok or Bakui? Bakui. Alright, so another aspect is Kalonzo Musyoka has actually had to have gloves off Raila Odinga, because people have been thinking that all the time Kalonzo is a walkover. But I think Kalonzo has decided that his stronghold is currently with Gachagua. And because a lot of Kenyans are looking after him to become the presidential candidate, with anybody becoming the vice, visa. I don't operate in the visa. In fact, myself, I'm seeking visas to go out to another country, so I don't have visas. You can see my channel is just, crawling. So I'm not actually aware about the visas for teaching. Not really. I'm not a politician currently, so I don't have such powers. I'm just a mere teacher. To acquire visas, no, I don't know anything to do with that. All right. Yeah, so let's go to the story of Kalonzo entering the God mode and lecturing Raila. Let's check that and see what he said here. Because Kalonzo Musyoka has of late been attacking Raila Odinga. He said he was betrayed. He said, Bomju. Oh, so, okay. He said there is a time he was almost assassinated. That is the time they were supporting. Okay. Thank you too. Yeah. And he talked about it. William. Galvan Santos William. Oh. Okay, so there was a disconnection, but we are almost finishing. So let's see what we have here. We've got here. Oh, amigos. Something. Yeah, so let's look at this. The last receipt we have for the day. It's hanging. It's hanging. Okay, so in this video, we saw Kalonzo Musyoka actually saying that he is not Raila. That when people give him room to vie as a presidential candidate, he will make leadership. Now, he was saying something before our bundles were moved.
No, like I said, in that
Oh my God, let's skip before he can get elsewhere. The hanging effect. Yeah, so of course Kalonzo Musyoka came out speaking like that because when Gachagua walked out of government, he came out revealing that they took power illegally, or rather through crude mining, just showing clearly that there was something crude in this. So let's check on some other video here before we proceed. And we are borrowing some things from David Wafula, while others we do them directly. So you bear with that. Is this now? A dark screen. Alright, so of course when we listen to Kalonzo Musyoka, he seems to have developed a lot of confidence, and that is why he said what he had to say. Of course, you remember recently Wavinya and Dito actually had to come out, and people should not joyride all the time on Kalonzo Musyoka. He deserves to be given room to vie. And possibly he's just trying to exhibit that through his statements now, reassuring Kenyans to have trust on him, because somehow there are people who are feeling like Kalonzo Musyoka may not really become suitable. But of late, the numbers are changing. So let's end there. Adios till tomorrow. See you time this.